Hello and welcome to the Reiki Temple Meditation. My name is Carrie Varela. I am the founder of the Reiki Healing Society. Reiki Healing Society helps people heal and thrive with Reiki and yoga. When I was 16, I found yoga and have been a practitioner ever since. And then about 2007, I became a yoga teacher. And at that same time, I found Reiki, a Japanese healing art. And for the last 15 years or so, I've been developing myself as a Reiki teacher and practitioner and also a yoga teacher. And the Reiki Temple Meditation has a little sprinkle of yoga, but the main course of the concepts and ideas inside of the Reiki Temple Meditation come from Reiki. And I'd love to share with you just a few different layers of meaning and intention that I put into the Reiki Temple Meditation that I just hope will enhance your experience, will deepen your experience of this practice. So the first layer of intention I'd love to share with you is just my inspiration for the Reiki Temple Meditation. And it comes from a yoga teacher. Her name is Shiva Ray. And she told me about this temple in India. And it's one of the wealthiest temples in India, but you'd never know it from the outside because it's very humble, it's not ornate, it's not fancy in any way. The wealth of this temple, though, is buried deep underneath the temple, buried in a vault. And of course they do that to protect the temple from civil, political unrest, temple robbers, and so forth. And as I kind of marinated with this whole idea of this temple in India, it struck me as such a powerful analogy of the soul, that each of us, we have these resources inside of us. So you have these gifts, this awareness inside of us. And how we access that information can be challenging. Maybe you've heard this statement before: everything you need is already inside you. I totally believe that's true, but how do we access the resources, the gifts, the awareness, the wisdom, insight from our true self? How do we bring that forward into our life? And so the Reiki Temple Meditation helps you access that. I think it's also helpful to ponder, where do these gifts come from, right? So the gifts inside of us can come from our lineage, the lineages that we're a part of. It can be come from our ancestors. It can come from work we've done in this life. It can come perhaps from work we've done from past lives. And it also can come just as a spontaneous gift, this gift of awareness, of aliveness, resources that we have within us that maybe we didn't even know we have. And that gift comes to us from the source of life, from the universe, from God, however you want to name that. Another layer of meaning that I'd love to share with you about the Reiki Temple Meditation comes from Mount Kurama, the birthplace of Reiki. And so I want to place for you on the screen an image from Mount Kurama. And this image is the symbol of the teachings of Mount Kurama. And so you see 3 rings orbiting a sacred mountain. These 3 rings are an analogy of our body, our heart, and mind. So in that order, from bottom to top. These 3 rings also represent a deeper esoteric knowledge that your body is really your empowerment, is your source of power to move through this reality and to move through the world. Your heart is the embodiment of the energy of love. Your mind is the embodiment of the energy of light. So these 3 rings circling and orbiting this sacred mountain represent our power, our love, and light. And according to the cosmology of Mount Kurama, these 3 energies, power, love, and light, they help us illuminate aspects of our true self. So you might be familiar with this, and you know that you can't just meditate once and say, done that before. That's why Reiki and yoga are practices. There's something that we can do anytime we need it, hopefully every day, but it doesn't have to be every day, but anytime we need to cultivate and come back home into ourselves. That's what Reiki and yoga can do for us. Give us a route, a pathway to cultivate that connection to our sacred self. So in that sense, this Reiki Temple Meditation isn't necessarily designed for you to do one time and be good with. It's something that you can return to again and again and again, anytime you need it, anytime you need to connect in to the resources you have within you, into your empowerment. You can do that with this visualization. Anytime you need to check into your heart or into your mind, you can return back into these visuals to help you find that centering and grounding into who you really are. All right, well, thank you so much for giving me that opportunity to just introduce a little bit about the practice of the Reiki Temple meditation. I hope it gives you so many benefits, and I can't wait to share it with you. So when you're ready, let's get started. To begin, take a full body inhale and a full body exhale. Enjoy another one of those breaths, so inviting your whole body to breathe in next time you inhale, and inviting your whole body to breathe out with the wave of your exhale breath. Feel that every cell inside of you is receiving the nourishment of these deep inhales. Every cell is receiving the release of your exhale. Keeping your eyes closed, focus your eyes on the backs of the eyelids. Relax your forehead, your jaw, the muscles of the face. Soften your shoulders away from your ears, and become completely aware, completely in touch with the sensations of the inhale breath in your chest. Savor that sensation of your next exhale. Relax your belly. Notice the sensations in your hips, your knees, the arches of your feet. Enjoy a moment of deep grounding, bringing your awareness into this moment. Whether you're seated or laying down is totally fine, but just notice the connection of your body to the floor beneath you. And then through that connection of your body to the floor, feel a very potent and powerful connection to the earth. Create some more energetic spaciousness by letting the inhale breath travel down through the nose, along the windpipe, energetically down into the bowl of the pelvis, where this energy center called the hara resides. Then as you exhale, inflate your own energetic balloon. So you're expanding the light of the hara in an omnidirectional way. So every inhaled breath travels through the nose, down the windpipe, through the center of the body, filling up the bowl of the pelvis. And as you exhale, expand that energetic balloon. Enjoy this expanded sense of spaciousness. Like there's this energy bubble around your whole body, expanding out, filling up the room that you're dwelling in. And inside of this energetic bubble, giving yourself this field of protection around you so that you can deflect negative energy and feel completely safe to be open to receive a blessing of love, light, and healing that flows freely from Reiki. Invite in the energy of Reiki to support your healing and allow it to fill you to overflowing with peace, with power, with purpose. Invite your most whole and healed self into this experience and ask that you might receive some insight about yourself that supports an awareness of your truth and your greatest good. Wherever you are, right there is a door into your inmost being. Sacred spiritual connection isn't a far-off, mystical concept. It can be found right inside, dwelling in your body, mind, and heart. In your body's temple, your own true being is nothing but pure, joyous consciousness. So visualize for me a temple standing in front of you. You walk up the steps of this temple, and what is customary in many of the world's sacred places is that you have to take off your shoes. So you take off your shoes and you feel the touch of your feet on cool marble. Stepping inside the main door of the temple, you find yourself on the center floor. And on this floor is the energetic space for your heart. In the center of the room, there's an altar prepared for you. There's an unlit candle there, some fresh flowers, and one of those fancy new picture frames that has these rolling pictures of different images of moments in your life and people in your life that truly matter to you, that have made a big difference in your life, even in positive ways and negative ways. There's a stick of incense there and a little table and a chair that you can sit on. On that table is some fresh journal pages, comfy place to sit. So settle yourself there in front of your heart's altar. Light the candle. Fill the room with the fragrance of sacred smoke. And sit for a moment with yourself with this question. What is really going on for me right now? And if it's useful, there's those empty pages where you can kind of energetically write what's really going on for you, or maybe you have a journal that you can write in, answer these questions for yourself. But start to make a list of what's really going on. In a more general sense, noting what you're moving towards and what you're moving away from. Here in the heart, it's so important to not get fixated or stuck on where the challenge is for you. It's also incredibly important to acknowledge the good stuff, the blessings that are happening in your life, the things that you're so incredibly grateful for, the people, places, and things that light you up, the people, places, and things that you love and that love you back. So taking a moment to notice that, and notice how the heart can hold it all. It can hold the light and the dark, the good and the bad, the happy and the sad. That's one of the magical things about the heart. So honoring that for yourself here in this moment. And as you write out what's really going on, it's about consciously acknowledging that for yourself, but also to feel heard, seen, and acknowledged by a higher power, something bigger than each and every one of us. That here in sacred spaces, it's this place to connect to this higher power. Maybe we call that the universe. Maybe you call that God or the divine. And however you conceptualize it, just feeling the sacred here with you, helping you to unravel the layers, to unburden the heart. Whenever you feel complete with answering that question or just exploring what's happening in your heart today, you can lift yourself up off of that comfy seat. Maybe do a circle around your heart's altar, seeing the flame of that candle burning bright. As you walk around the circle of the altar, trying to see your heart, seeing it from different angles. In your physical heart, you can feel the lungs, the front of the chest, the back of the chest, the sides of the ribs. Feeling your heart open and honest, seeking your truth. As you walked around this circle of the room, you notice that there's a staircase leading you down to the basement floor of the temple. So as you're ready, walk down those stairs. And you see the door of a vault in front of you. So walk through that door, it's heavy. And inside of the vault, there's this really gorgeous, comfy couch. So sit yourself down on that couch and energetically bring yourself down into this space of the hara, the bowl of the pelvis. Here inside of the vault is your room of resources. This is a place you can come into anytime you're feeling confused or uncertain on what the next best step is for you. Along the walls of the vault contain pieces of you, gifts that you have access to. Another way of saying that is strength that you have access to. And these gifts could come and flow from the lineages that you're a part of. It could come from your ancestors. It can come from work that you've already done and cultivated in this life that you're continuing to reap the benefits of. The gift inside of this room can also be gifts of spirit, resources within you that you didn't even know you have access to. So as you sit in this room, I invite you to sit in your power. Notice how that feels energetically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. What does it feel like to sit in your power? Perhaps feeling this distinction between power over as opposed to power within us, strength within us to overcome our challenges, to learn from our mistakes, to keep growing into the fullness of who we really are. So deep in this hara space, allow yourself this freedom to release and let go of energy that feels heavy, hard to carry. Feel yourself letting go of work that you've done or things that have happened where you didn't see the result that you were hoping for. Up until this point in your life, you've planted seeds, and maybe some of those seeds have come into fruition. You can celebrate that. But for those things that haven't come into fruition as of yet, you can deposit that energy out into this room. Let it settle wherever it needs to settle so that you have more space to be with the here and now. Feel yourself also receiving deeply. In this room of resources, what resources do you have within you that you could tap into right now, in this moment, to help you move powerfully forward in life? What gifts inside you do you need to bring to the forefront in order for you to move through your fear, to get beyond complacency, and shift into the action your soul is asking you to take? Remember that power comes from your body. And so lean in, really feeling into, what does your body need? What does your body feel as you think about stepping in to the action that your soul is asking you to take? What do you feel is lacking for you? Where are your needs not getting met? Take a few deep breaths into those areas of your life, bringing your life force into those places in your life where your needs are not getting met. Taking a moment to notice where your needs are getting abundantly met, where you can celebrate the roof over your head, the money in your bank account, the people who matter to you, the connections that you have cultivated and created in your life, the ways in which life supports you. Life supports you fully to become and to be who you really are. Before we depart the Hara, it will be so useful to connect in to your wounded one. Knowing that oftentimes our wounded one dwells in these lower realms of our being. And so when you think about moving powerfully forward in life, how does that feel for your wounded one? What wounds are really alive for you in this season of your life? And asking yourself, what does my wounded one need? What could I give to him, her, or they? Some kindness, some awareness, compassion, respect, healing and love. And just really asking that wounded part of yourself, asking what they need. To feel this beautiful, healing, supportive energy flowing to you now. Receiving deeply from this place inside of you where you hold the resources, access the gifts of spirit, gifts of ancestors, gifts that come from following your path and purpose, gifts that come from the embodiment of your true self. Feel all of that accessible to you right now. As you feel ready to release this space, get yourself up off that comfy couch. Walk out the door of the vault. Walk back up the stairs, coming to the main floor of the temple. Across the room, you see another set of stairs, this time leading you up to the roof of the temple. And so as you walk up those stairs, imagine for yourself that you're walking up into the energy center in your mind. Coming onto the roof of the temple, there's nothing between you and the sky. The sky surrounds you fully. There's a sunset happening in front of you and a perfect bench that you can sit on. As you sit and watch the sunset, fill yourself up to overflowing with nature's beauty. Feel the energy center of the mind receiving light. A beautiful, abundant, healing light. Feeling that light surround both the mind, the body, and the heart. And then from this more expanded place, connect back in to that intention that you had to join me for this Reiki temple visualization. Come back into what's really going on in your body, your mind, your heart. Here in the energy center of the mind, it's so important to explore the ego. If healing is wholeness, we absolutely have to incorporate our ego into our healing process. Now, we all have an ego, and if we didn't have one, we wouldn't be able to get out of bed every day. So the ego isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's an essential piece of our human condition. Nevertheless, it's so important to tend to the ego, to bring our awareness there, to notice what our ego wants or needs, and notice if we have allowed our ego to sit in the driver's seat of our life. So if we're thinking about integrating our body, mind, and heart, we can't bypass the ego. We can't simply neglect it. So become more familiar with your ego's awareness. And if you want to give a good task to the ego, you can assign the ego the task of being reasonable. So in moments and times in our life where we become unreasonable, usually there is some sort of imbalance with our ego. So as you continue to contemplate what's really going on inside of you, notice if you're being reasonable about what you want, of expectations of what you hope to achieve, or the desired outcome that you'd like to see. The lifelong task of working with our ego is to embody our strength, to be aware of our weaknesses, and to use the ego awareness to cultivate a solid and healthy sense of self. A balanced ego is humble, aware of the needs of others, and has an ability to admit when we are wrong. A healthy ego gives you a necessary resilience and persistence to overcome your obstacles and setbacks. It gives you a sense of determination, allowing you to bounce back from failure, to learn from your mistakes, and to continue to move forward. A healthy ego allows us to love and embrace our true and authentic self. So continue to feel this connection to light, helping you dispel the darkness of your mind, dispel the cobwebs of the mind. If your mind was like a light bulb, and that light bulb is starting to glow brighter and brighter. And take this light with you as you lift yourself off of that bench. You take one more sweeping look of the sunset. Walk down the steps back to the main floor, the heart level of your body temple. And come back in front of the heart altar and see that candle still burning, the incense still smoldering, that smell of sacred smoke filling the space. Looking at that picture frame, noticing if there's an image there for you. Before we depart the Reiki Temple meditation, this visualization, and the energy of your heart space. I invite you to explore your most whole and healed self. I invite you to drop in to that perspective that comes from your most whole and healed self. What insight and wisdom does your whole self have for you today? What light can you receive from your most whole and healed self that gives you insight into who you really are? What awareness can you bring with you into your day-to-day living that supports you to see more fully from the perspective of your most whole and healed self? And so whether you're a visual person or however you experience this flow of energy, I invite you to set this intention to continue to receive from this meditation and this visualization. So that this receiving of awareness, wisdom, and insight from your true self will continue to flow for you in your dream time space, and will continue to flow for you over the course of the next few days, giving you more clarity, empowerment, confidence, and trust in your gifts. Using this practice as a means to cultivate a peaceful and loving connection to your true and authentic self. Here in front of your heart's altar, bring your hands together in Gasho, feeling the touch of the palms as this gesture of gratitude, of reverence for our body, our breath, this practice, each other, for community, for the power of Reiki, expressing gratitude for this blessing of love, light, and healing that was received. With the hands in Gasho, feel this as also a gesture of completion, sealing in all that you received from the Reiki Temple meditation, completely and perfectly dispelling all that you let go of. Pausing in this Gasho meditation to just witness and experience the sacredness of your heart. In Japan, they think of the heart as the home of the living. So where are you really living? Are you living in the past? Are you living in the present? Or are you living in the here and the now? So whenever your path feels hard, confusing, or uncertain, you can come back into this temple visualization to explore what's really going on in your body, mind, and heart. Use this self-knowledge to light the path of your healing. It takes commitment to follow your path and your purpose. And to whatever amount that you can commit to that today, lean in. Give your commitment as a sacred offering to yourself. Give your commitment as a sacred offering to the world. And in this precious moment, sending some love, light, and healing out into the world. Maybe sharing it with somebody that really matters to you that's hurting, or an area of the world that's struggling, so that the benefit of our meditation practice spreads like ripples out into the world. Thank you so much for journeying with me into this meditation. I truly hope it brings you so many benefits. Till we see each other again, may love, light, and healing walk with you in every step.